What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? Good evening, all. How are we doing? Do all of you have your coffee cups ready? What's up, Derek? All in AMC. How are you? You're all in. I like it. Since you're the first two in here, guys, would you please bless me with the honor and of telling me how loud is the music? Are we perfect, or is it too loud, or is it too low? Any way you want it, that's the way I give it. Actually, everybody that's in here, perfect. Thank you, Mrs. Veronica and Mr. Panulo. I have to give the credit to Mr. Panulo. Mr. Panulo was within the first 5 people to ever subscribe to the channel and been here on a daily where every live. Words can't describe how I am appreciative to all that, Mr. Panulo. Thank you, and to obviously to all. I just had to mention it. Arthur, what's up, brother? Nice to see you in here. Peter Jefferson, get ready. We have a few good, cool things to talk about as in today. You know, is it so crazy that we were just talking about this yesterday? Like all this stuff that we're talking about, and as I was telling you guys all along about all the meme stocks being in the same basket, and it's going to come down to which communities are still very far intact, and obviously the corruption is everywhere in the market, but which communities are still holding true to their convictions. We saw it today in multiple stocks. There's no way for them to let the squeeze go only with one stock at a time. Again, just not me knowing, this is me just using common sense of financially, I mean, everyone will become trillionaires if that's the way they go about it, if they go about it stock by stock. But anyways, we got some more things to talk about, and I'm not confirming that obviously this is indeed the beginning of the squeeze yet, because we're going to look at some of the charts like here. We got some cool things to talk about. I got a lot of tabs for you guys today. Got a lot of tabs on you. Just make sure you got your coffee ready. If you're not a coffee drinker, get your drink ready. Whether that will be Hennessy or whiskey or bourbon or seltzers, whatever it is you want, or aqua. I got both, coffee and aqua, and I got my hookah, so I'm set to go. Let me see, who else am I welcoming in here before we get started? Mr. Peter Jefferson said, "What's up, bro? What's irony? GME has its best news in the last year, had one of the best runs today in a while, only to lose it all within 30 minutes after market closed." Yes, this will go into one of these. Oh, look at that. Did you see what just happened, guys? The football gods just kicked my Green Bay hat down to the ground. Yeah, where is it? It's one of these tabs. We'll have something to talk about this, and I will tell you what the excuse will be tomorrow, because this is basically an opportunity for them to short and dump basically everything that they inflated today, the whole market, whether it's Tesla, all that stuff. We'll see it tomorrow for sure. That's why I said don't hold your hands yet, or as far as for the squeeze. It's imminent as far as for the squeeze to when it will happen, but it's just the question is when. And we have a slide or two here about talking about that, and you're going to see what the excuse is going to be tomorrow about all that stuff. Yet it is very volatile. Just remember, this could be also one of their tactics. That's just why I'm saying that we're in this moment right now. We got a little window, and this will explain it too, but we'll go into it in a bit. Okay, so hang on tight to your seats. And like I said, make your hookah if you're a hookah smoker. Get your drink ready, and we'll be ready to go here soon. Who else are we saying hi to? Mrs. Veronica Chase. Well, this brings tears to my heart. I don't want you to see them coming down my eyes, so I'll let them go down my heart. So appreciate the hookness. Mrs. Gloria, how are you? Brian C, what's good, AB? Glad Pantheon pointed me to your channel, and I am more glad that he also did, more than you'd even think. But that's why Pantheon is a class act. So it was all part of the plan. Dollar strong, 20-year high. Yeah, right? Be very tasty short in due time. Bang energy drinks, no Jameson yet. Still at work. All right, I'll hold you to it. Bye bye, Green Bay. Arthur. DXY about to overtake the euro. Yeah. Pop Loco, how are you doing, sir? All right. Looks like we're sizing up here, and I think we should probably start. I've said hi's to most of the people that are in here. Danette, look at that. What is this? We're not tiny investor anymore. Nice to see you guys. This is this is one of the top 5 right here in that first 5 subscriber list, and ever since been around with me as well. I'll never forget. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here as well. So, to begin, let's have some talks about this. As you can see in front of you, the screen in front of you right here, you'll be like, CalPERS unload record $6 billion of private equity at a discount. They wanted to initially do this back in January. And if you're wondering, you're probably like, who are the CalPERS? AB, stop losing my interest. I'll do it for you. It's the California Public Employees Retirement System. Those guys are obviously unloading record $6 billion of private equity at a discount. What's about to happen soon? Since they were able to get this much at least, are they trying to save people's retirement in California's retirement as much as possible, so that they could buy the dip when the whole thing crashes down? But they don't. I mean, at least they have $6 billion. That, I guess this is they're going to be their explanation. We have $6 billion at least to buy down the dip and average down versus, oh, we went down with the market like 2008 and yeah, you're just shit out of luck. So this is pretty huge, guys. I mean, that's not a small number. $6 billion they got on a discount, and they wouldn't even mention like what exactly was the amount that they sold. So like it could have been, for example, like 10 billion worth of equity or shares, and instead they took basically 6 billion for it. So the announcement can make it, you know, seem like it's just keep your eye on that 6 billion figure. With that being said, let me look at over here. Who else I have to say? Oh, Hanzo, how are you doing, my friend? Nice to see you in here. Nice to see you in here, my friend. Everybody's showing love to each other. Next, by the way, people who are up on HGen, you are welcome. Today, it also went another 12.5%. At some point, it was up 13%. It's right now, it's already over 50% from since the beginning of the weekend, or since the beginning of the week on Tuesday. So that's just 3 days. I'm already long gone with this. I was happy with my 40%. But for whoever else is still in there, or whoever got in there anyways, which I doubt that it was many, but whoever it did, again, congrats. That's money coming from nowhere. Let's see what else is happening. Dude, the volatility with Cryptide and bbig pre-market was insane today, especially in the pre-market for Cryptide. It was like up 28% when it first opened, and at some point it became in the red, negative. Like they were pumping and dumping it like crazy. We've seen also like the crypto and Bitcoin is doing some crazy moves. Sorry, let me just go ahead and see where we at on the crypto. Bitcoin is right on that verge of the reversal formation, but again, it's not there yet. I mean, it's literally right there. It has to hold the 21,600, and it touched it. It went over it to 21,800, and it dropped right back down to where it's at right now. So let's see if it can reconsolidate above 21,600 and hold. If that does, then we will be seeing a small rally coming up from crypto. But again, if it doesn't, it's going to be dumping right back down to the 20,000 range yet again. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Let's get on with the show. We'll talk a little more about crypto as questions come on. We have to party. Everybody's ready for the squeeze. I love it. Alrighty, guys. Please go ahead, consider hitting that like button, just so we could get more and more people in here who don't see it. Sometimes they do short, unfortunately, AB's live, and with that, when they do that, they basically don't get. A lot of people don't get, the notification for it. Let's see here, everything is good. I don't even want to show the other hat right here. I'm not even gonna do it. All right, so we got the CalPERS out of the way. They got $6 billion. God knows out of how much, but for a discount, that's pretty huge, guys. Again, these firms, like this is what's responsible for the retirement fund in California. Like this is huge when they sell this much. Just like I said yesterday, that CEO Bed Bath & Beyond buying 50,000 shares was bullish. Well, we saw it today. Now, again, it depends on how you look at your outlook on the trading or the stock. So if you're one of those people who look at Bed Bath & Beyond as, what's the best way to put it? Like an AMC, like the way you look at it as in like you have conviction, like it's to you, it's your AMC. Again, to each their own. If that's the way you're looking at it, then be ready to see those percentages to go fluctuate like crazy, because at the end of the day, look where it dropped from to where it is now. I mean, it's extremely oversold. A lot of good things on your side is that obviously that's a huge bet from an interim CEO coming in. So I can see where the pros and the cons are in this play. The only cons, and will always be the only cons for Bed Bath & Beyond, is the fact that they're retail business and they are part of the conditions in this market. And the conditions of this market, no matter who you are, unless you are Costco, who are reporting their earnings just a little bit ago, they reported really good sales. I mean, 22.78 billion for June, up from 18.92 billion a year ago. Total compared sales grew 18%. And basically rose 7% just from last month. People love, and the funny thing is that all the accreditation agencies are still rating it as below. So it's still a buy, but they downgraded the price expectations for it. Still somewhat in the 500s. Now, obviously, when AB shares any of these things with you guys, with the family, for any new people in here, this is not obviously telling you go buy this, go buy Costco right now. No, What I'm saying, obviously, is keeping the news up to date with you, keeping you well informed. The way that I see things, I report most of the important things, and I go ahead and make my mind up on it. See, at least can kind of draw a picture on where we at, and that way I report to you, so you can draw your own picture and see what interests you. You never know who is looking for what, so it's different for everyone. Oh, not this guy yet. No. Not these people. You guys are getting all the spoilers of the stream. While we here as well, let's talk about Wells Fargo Investment Institute said in a note on Thursday it's adjusting its base case to reflect a moderate recession expected to start in the middle of this year, which means we're already in it already, and extend it into mid-2023. The bank said it also hiked U.S. unemployment rate estimates. Well, no shit. When everybody's firing everybody, left and right, we're moving on. A recession in the Eurozone later this year should begin after the U.S. recession. I don't know if anybody in Wells Fargo is either playing dumb or they don't have international analysts, but a simple investigation on Google could tell you don't even need to be an analytical expert, that Europe is getting throttled right now with inflations and recession. I mean, the fact that they're still even talking about that this might be from this time, like we might have a recession and we need to have our protocols in place for it, is laughable to me, because there is no way they will ever break it down to people. Like what they've been trying to do is try to break it down to the public, like, oh, we're easing into it first, there's transitory, oh my god, okay, it's getting much worse than we thought, but we got this. And then you start hearing stuff like this, and then when the shit is right in your face, that's when you will be like, okay, well, we need to downgrade it to an actual recession. You're like, okay, well, it should have been it's been a recession, and now you want to downgrade it to a recession. For those of you who's been waiting on the rating agencies or banks like Wells Fargo Investments to report the reality due to its like live, it's kind of equivalent to the person who's dead, but no, that's not even a good example. Like, it's kind of like, that scene in movies where they say, like, if you're reading this letter, it's too late. If you're reading this right now, it's too late. That's literally what it is. So you're reading what they're saying. By the way, guys, I know you as the family here are not waiting for these people to take your info and run with it. Problem is, majority of the country, majority of the people, the non-investors, the non-meme stockholders, those people are all fallen, obviously, victims to this rubbish. Rubbish. That's my notepad right here. I didn't put everything in it, which I should have. But some you have to see yourselves, right? All right, let me stay up to date with the chat so that people I'm not leaving behind. Let's see. Who do I have to say hi to? Everybody. Taking a puff as well at the same time, instead of constantly just blabbering on. Elhas, nice to see you in here. Corbin, who dey? Who they think gonna beat them Bengals, right? Green Bay. Tater Tot, how are you, my friend? Yes, smash that like button. Get more fellow family apes in here. What else? Jeffrey is in here. Jeffrey, nice to see you in here, brother. any chance they were short? The CalPERS, Corbin Dallas. I don't think they were short like the directly, honestly, because again, this is a retirement fund. The shorting is extremely risky, and they normally don't go with stuff like that, like something that risky. Now, how they're connected still, I think that they could be connected or could have been connected is by lending shares. They could take, and I remember seeing them, I think, in my FINRA reports a long time ago, like last year in early 2021, before even the June run up, if I'm not mistaken. But I've seen, was it the California CalPERS or was it the Teachers Fund? It was something from California. I remember seeing back in March of 2021 that took a long position on AMC, and it was sizable. So how they could be related to this or connected to our play is by lending their shares over to the shorts. And I wouldn't even be surprised if they even sold or swapped the shares out. Well, since they said now that they sold 6 billion and not verified exactly what, they just sold 6 billion, that could have been in it for a discount. I mean, they could have made a crazy amount of money since last year till today, a year and a half of collecting money on God knows what interest rate they were charging for lending the shares out. If they did, again, hypothetically speaking here, yeah, it makes sense. I could see that happen and being the case. And on their way out, they're like, here you go. Give the shares to the people that need them. And then when people keep saying, where are these shares coming from? Well, yes, big number is synthetic. We all know this. A lot of it is obviously naked shares, but in the same time, there is a lot of shares that are also being interswapped between players. The DOJ put their fingers on it, but they said that, to the best of my knowledge, I haven't seen anything materialize from it. But again, at the end of the day, it's all about connecting the dots, and it won't take much of looking into something, especially if you have the right variables. If you have X, Y, and Z, well, then you can figure out any of them. What's Y, what's the equivalence of X, and what is the equivalence of Z? But you need to have all. Normally, it's always X plus Y equals Z, or X divided by Y equals Z, So we'll see how things develop. Good point, Corbin. Love it. Just another 8. Costco is in the top 5 best stocks to buy on the NYSE. And by the way, guys, just another 8 is Super Steven, and he is actually probably the biggest fan of Costco that I personally know of. He talks about it highly, and rightfully so. I mean, this is extremely bullish. In fact, if you want Super Steven, I have the incubator already connected. So if you want to pop in to just obviously say your thoughts on how you feel about your Costco, obviously without giving financial advice or anything. I know you wouldn't be. You're more than welcome. You know where the place is. Okay, so amazing. Normally I'm talking and then... Who's this? My Jeffrey?
What's up, boss?
You guys see, the incubator is always at work. What's up, Jeffrey? How are you, King Jeffrey? Say hi to King Jeffrey, everyone.
I was in the green until after hours hit.
Well, good thing you're not a day trader. Good thing you're not a day trader, Jeff.
Oh, right.
Didn't that?
I want to know who those 67,000 people that were selling right at close.
Oh,
67,000 sell orders.
Yeah, right. It's actually, yeah, we're gonna get into that topic in just a second, Jeff. I'm gonna open up so that we can open up that talk. It's like a round table kind of conversation thing, because there will be a few sides to it. but I don't think anything can be right or wrong right now. You kind of almost could tell what it is, but we'll get into it just in a moment so we can, have fun with it or dabble with it. Um,
Mhm.
Danette, AB, when you have a chance, talk about BBIG. Should I add more? Not financial advice, of course. Thank you. Well, of course, we're always talking about BBIG, and I will talk more about this. And the incubator will also chime in. Corbin, we are hedged round here. That's very good. What do you think of the USD? Strongest since '02. Corbin, we will talk about this as well. Uh, Tater Tot, yes, that is Super Steven. Droobs White, good day to you, sir. Nice to see you in here. And Hobby the Great. Well, the name is
What
foretelling,
up,
guys, right?
Bobby?
The Great is here. Um, Good. All right. So let's continue on with this. I think I'm caught up with the chat. So we got to talk about, I know what we need to talk about the AMC, we need to talk about BBIG, and we got to talk about the USD, and then we got to also have some fun with Costco uh, on the way. Let's see. Let me go ahead and actually
Our Super
close
Steven, he
this.
ain't jumping in.
I don't know if he is. We will see him or we will hear him soon. Um, so on a let's talk about this first. We got some funny stuff here to laugh about and talk about and hear everyone. We got a COVID science wastewater study technique finds virus variants sooner. Many patients are using meds affected by Paxlovid. So what this is about, guys, are they're saying that have you ever seen that part in Jurassic, what was it, Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, when the scientists would go to the dinosaurs' feces or their dump and then collect samples to see if they're sick or not? This is basically what they're saying here. So soon,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, I don't think any of you would have to stick anything far up your nose. You just have to go into an office and just take a dump, and they will do the rest from there. Don't worry, they'll flush it out for you, right? What do you think, Jeff?
They have they have mail and poop orders now.
What is
Like
it?
they'll send you. They have mail and poop orders. They'll send you a little baggie. You put your specimen in there and then send it back to them. It's crazy. No, it's serious. My daughter had to do that during COVID time. They um they made her because she had I don't remember, she had to have a stool sample. So yeah, they sent her a little it's like one of those Ziploc bags, but it's like those like medical ones. And she had to put it in there and then put the date and the time that she did on there and then send it back to them. I was like, this is insanity. We're sending crap in the mail.
Yeah, right, right. We're so, like, what's the point of a toilet nowadays? You can just keep sending samples. But no,
No.
you know what's crazy is that they used to actually pay people for this. Okay, so your feces tell a lot about you, and on a more serious note, and it tells a lot about what kind of activity is going on in your body. So what they used to do scientifically is they would take people in and literally house them for a month or 45 days, and they will put groups on certain diets, and certain other groups they'll divide them in other diets and like eat all kind of crazy stuff. Like some group will eat all the bad stuff, some group will eat all the good stuff, and then through that 45-day experiment they will be collecting throughout that time all your obviously feces and putting them to tests. So they used to pay people for this to do that. Now they're collecting people's shit basically, not only for free, but they also can possibly soon send you, like Jeffrey just said, Ziploc bags with a sticker so that basically you don't have to, I guess, pay for the mailing fees.
Right. It's custom, dude. I don't even gotta go to the doctor's office no more. I wonder. I wonder when I have to go in for my prostate if I could just do that at home too.
Right, right. Cut off the water when the recession hits, and then that way you don't have to do flushing anymore. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Reading too much into it, but I thought that that was
Oh,
crazy. Like this thing, like the craziness that we're moving with time into. It's just so crazy that all the things that are happening. Like what kind of life we're heading toward. Like for all of you scared parents or want to become parents and but afraid about what kind of world you're going to be bringing your child in, I'm just going to tell you this. You'll always, every generation is always going to say the next one is going to be so far worse. And they are worse than we are. But at the end of the day, this is the way of life. We never know when something comes apart and changes everything. What that would be, I don't know. But this is the world that we're bringing kids into it. I'm not saying this so that you would not go and have kids, but I'm saying that you need to be so fully aware so that all this confusion that in the world that we live in does not directly hit a newborn or the younger generations, because that's who they're influenced with. They're a product of their habitat and their time. So be a huge influence, obviously. And this is not AB telling you how to be a better parent. Obviously, I'm not even a parent myself, but I did raise my siblings. So it's extremely important to stay high, like to be the high figure, number one influencer in your family, obviously with your significant other, um, to make sure that like none of the craziness that is happening in the world can affect your kids. Like they can see it, they can be in it, they can be around it, but they don't have to partake with it, because they know what to keep out and they know
hey,
what to keep in. What's up, Jeffrey?
I was gonna tell you, don't worry about it. I got enough for both of us. Enough kids.
But Jeffrey, I need a son.
Oh, oh. Hopefully yours doesn't turn out like um my expedition on it for my son.
That's
Six
that's why I
right.
said it. That's why I said
Six right. Oh, okay.
it. You kept trying
No,
until you have
you
that boy, huh?
know. Hey,
Or,
something that's weird. You're talking about um things just happening. Newer and newer in the world. Um, I don't know if it's happening all over, but I just noticed like this last weekend over the Fourth of July weekend, there was um there was like three different Circle K's. They're like convenience store gas stations, but they had the cash registers down, and all you could do is pay through the self pay, and this is at a gas station. And I just got to thinking, I'm like, man, they're just trying to get it to where basically they're getting rid of like the teller. Basically, everything's gonna be automated. Like even at like WalMarts and stuff like that, they have like out of the 12, like at the super Walmart, out of the 12 cash lines, they have like two of them open, and then just the self service ones, which is crazy. They're trying to go everything computerized, automated.
wow, that's intense, bro. That's
Yeah,
intense.
it's crazy.
It's
I was
it's
just thinking
it
about that when you were talking about new things popping up.
right,
And
and that's how it
it
happens.
just made me.
Like,
And
go
then
ahead.
they don't even say, "Hey, we're testing out this new way." They just put it like, "Oh, we're just having issues with our cash registers, so you just gotta do this." But for it to happen at three different Circle K's, that's just like they're running a test or something. And then
Right.
there's one Circle K that like, if you look in the ceiling, it's got like probably 200 of those like little like what do you call them? Like single use or single size cameras, the little tiny cameras. There's
Yeah.
probably 200 or 250 of them on the ceiling. And what it is you can walk in and you can download this app and you walk in and you scan your QR code and then you just walk around the store, pick up stuff, and then walk out. And well, obviously you have to have your your checking account or your card or whatever linked to it. But as soon as you walk out, it charges you for everything you picked up. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't even have to interact with anybody. You just walk in, grab what you want, and it sees everything you're doing while you're in there. Like I said, once you scan your QR code, then the camera just picks you up and it'll see everything you're picking up. And then when you walk out, it just debits your card.
This
Crazy.
is what's up. That's what's up. Talking about innovation and the worsening effects of socialism. You know, like it's so crazy how they say social media is social, but in reality, social media is really not social. You know, it's always people that are alone, or you're always by yourself at that point most of the times, and you're in social media as they refer to it, and you're connected with the whole world at that point, but you really aren't. So it's crazy how they
Exactly.
say social media is social, but really is it? Uh,
Yeah,
like
I
there's
know. I
so
mean,
many things.
yeah, you have, say whatever, like back when it was cool, you have, you know, 500 friends on, whatever, Facebook or whatever. But I mean, how many of those do you actually really see or interact with on a daily basis? You might,
Right.
you might talk to them, I mean, through chat or whatever, but you don't see them.
Yep. Or Discord.
Right, yeah. Well, Discord's a little bit different because we can talk to each other at least.
Right. We can also see each other.
Well, yeah. Well, I can see you. You can see me. You can just see my big old head, my big
Yeah,
old
right.
head.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Jeff. You should see mine. Well, you see mine.
Oh yeah.
So said hi to Ghost 2. Nice to see you in here, brother. Oh, Super Steven is at work at the moment, but he'll probably jump in soon. I'll see you soon, or I'll hear you soon, Steven. Good luck at the rest of your shift. Adele Mushir, hello, sir. Nice to see you in here, everyone. He's saying hi to everyone. Adele is a very good friend of mine, actually. He's considered like an older brother to me. So say hi to Adele. And I'm not talking about the singer, I'm talking about this Adele. Jam Bams, and nice to see you in here, Jam Bams. Always a pleasure to see you in here. And Redwan
Yeah, man.
Siraj, yeah, Redwan, nice to see you in here as well. Cold Trickle is saying hi to AB and King Jeffrey. Well,
Yeah,
hello
what's
to you,
up,
Cole.
Cole?
And Richard Mock is also in here. Good afternoon to you, Sarah, as well. We got also now another on that same note, as far as speaking about the sell-offs, like we said, the CalPERS were doing. We also got a Brazilian savings post record withdrawals in first half amid high inflation. What would be their inflation levels there? Last time I checked, it was supposed to be crazy, like 14%, or actually right here it shows 13%. I'm assuming, but from January to June, bank savings saw an outflow of 50.5 billion reais, which is basically $9.44 billion. Central bank figures showed on Thursday the worst number for a period of series starting in 1995. The balance of savings account ended the semester at 1.1 trillion reais. Withdrawals took place amid surging consumer prices, inflation in the 12-month to mid-June hit 12%, well above the central bank's target of 3.5%. I mean, does this sound similar to what's happening here? And I understand this is Brazil. It's still not a third world country, but it's still not
Yeah.
the U.S. economy. You know, at the end of the day, still not the U.S. But at the end of the day, look at this. Like when you have it, when it's at 12, this is insane, guys. Like you
Hmm.
you incorporate that in to your daily life, and imagine if you are in Brazil with the kind of pay and structure that they have there, and how it's so much worse than what we even have here. And we have a lot of people going on strikes because they want, you know, higher wage to battle inflation so they could survive inflation. Imagine in Brazil when they are even battling this with the structure or the pyramid of pay that they have there. Basically unlivable unless you're already wealthy and you're taken care of. You know, it's ludicrous for our banks, for our federal system to come out and say stuff like, oh, like, well, we've seen the before, how the lies about the transitory inflation and all that stuff. But I think the bigger lie is the fact that we're not even honestly getting the real percentages of inflation. I think that inflation is way worse than the numbers or the figures that are being reported to us. I guess to avoid completely spooking the public, completely general public. What do you think, King Jeffrey? What is your take on the percentages of the inflation? Do you think they're true, what we have here? Do you think they're much worse, or
No,
what is
no,
your take on it?
they're definitely doctoring the numbers just so that basically the public doesn't freak out. I mean, I would
Yep.
almost say that it's probably somewhere in the 12s, maybe 13, but they have
Yep.
it at whatever it is, 8.6 right now. But I guarantee you it's higher.
I agree with it. I'm totally with you on it. What's your take on the dollar, Jeff? How is all this
Um,
happening and we're having a dollar that is surging to what, almost obviously all-time highs now or something? The surge in it. What is your thought on it, brother?
like like I said, it's basically just numbers, you know. If they doctor one number, it changes the whole. It's like when you're doing a math problem, you know. If you got like, you know, 46 times 10, you know what I mean? And then
Yep.
you just substitute the 10 for a 9, it changes a ton, you know what I mean? And that's what they're doing is they're just fudging one or two numbers here and there. And it could be just a percentage, half a percentage. But yet it it adjusts the whole system to make people think that, you know, the dollar's not losing its value or, you know, but I mean honestly, you know, I mean just from seeing articles from, you know, other countries and stuff like that, what they're seeing is, you know, the dollar's not going as far as it used to, which is true, it's not. And so how can they say that the dollar is surging if everybody is saying the same thing, that the dollar's not going as far as it used to go? You know what I
Yep.
mean? It's
Yep.
it's just funny.
Yeah, it's similar to what's happening also with us, like but in an opposite way with the meme stocks. What's happening is when you get all this, as you said, doctoring the numbers, and when you get a really high inflated number, there's an old saying that everybody knows, no matter where you at, whatever language you speak, what goes up must what?
Let's go down.
Exactly, it must go down. And it will be more profitable shorting from higher highs than obviously from normal numbers. So it's obviously to somebody's advantage. Now, moving on from the USD, this is the stuff that I've been telling you guys a lot about. And, you know, most of the things that I share with you guys are always going to be brand new or fresh stuff that are happening right around the time of obviously the stream. Um, before I even get into this topic right here, as far as the Feds and the 75 high points that they're talking about, I'm gonna explain it, and the incubator is gonna explain it and dive into it. I would like to say that unfortunately there's a few, and specifically there's one on my mind. There is a particular YouTuber on my mind, and that this YouTuber, I won't say the name for now, but
Huh.
some of you know him. But this YouTuber literally goes after I have my lives or my reports or my videos, and specifically copies it almost point by point. The problem is, even when they copy it, they're not even like they're having paste errors all over. Like they're pasting my info, but they're not copying it well because obviously they're not understanding it. They're just copy paste. Their mind is programmed that way. And to the point where yesterday when I said that Bed Bath and Beyond CEO the interim CEO went and purchased 50,000 shares, and I was one of the first few people to report that, and I said that and all these things. The next thing you know, I see this person, because again I have them on my watch. They would know who they are after I say this, without me having to say their name. But let me just tell you something. The CEO of Bed Bath and Beyond is not a man. It is not a male. So do not refer to Sue, her name is Sue, as his or he went and bought 50,000 shares. So the next time you copy info, please either give credit to where the source was, or consider at least copying it correctly and doing your due diligence on it. Like, give the people that are listening to you their time as they're giving you their time. Give them your time as well. Don't just go and give them the here you go burger. And you guys know what that tastes like. Now moving on, Jeff.
Hey,
I
hey,
think you know. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna ask, did you see that clip from the Liz Freeman Asperino show where Asperino was talking about Adam Aaron's tweet about when pounds, and
I didn't see it.
he's trying to spin a negative. Basically, what he's saying is now Adam Aaron is on the hook. So if say the numbers are good, whatever, but the price of the stock still doesn't go up, then if he were an investor, he would do a class action lawsuit against Adam Aaron because he's on the hook for that now since he put that when counts tweet out there. And I thought, well, this guy's stupid. I'm like, just because he already in the Q2 earnings or the Q1 earnings stated that he was going to pounce after Q2, then that's all he did was reiterated what he said in the Q1 earnings. So it's not like he's promising anything, you know.
Right.
He can take action and the price can still go down because he doesn't have any say so on the price of the stock, you know.
Right. He's
Just
not
like the just
directly.
like the well, yeah, just
So
like the CEO for the what was that Ethereum. He came out and said, "Hey, we know for a fact that there's more shorts than
manipulation.
there are available stocks," and the stock price dropped. I mean, did
Yep.
any one of the investors, file any lawsuits against him? It's just funny how Asperino tries to put a negative spin on everything.
I mean, you know, these guys and their agendas, what they're being either paid for, or what agenda they're on.
Uh,
Him, the Kramers, that all that. They're definitely not on this side, so they're always going to be pledging allegiance to their master. With that also being said, like back to the Ethereum CEO, he even went to the distance or of hiring private investigation uh, uh, organization to actually research the short count and all that stuff. But then that got put under the carpet because we never heard anything about it. Which I know that once the squeeze happens, like the MOAS actually occurs, you're gonna have all sorts of news that's supposed to have been come out long time ago will all start surfacing then. Oh, this and that. Oh, watch out for that coming from up here, and this from down here, and that from the side. All that stuff is gonna come in all jammed in at once because, again, it at that point it's already done. So that's why they will bring it out. But right now, withholding everything and information, it's crazy. And this is why it's extremely important for why Adam Aaron wouldn't have went this route. Because if they went that route, and I explained this before, but it was a little while ago. If Adam Aaron was to go, because a lot of people are constantly asking Adam, go do something, win pounds, do this. The thing is, he's only allowed to do certain amount of things with what he can say because he's the CEO of the company. It's not like he's a outside influencer or anything. He's directly tied with this, so he could easily, for the sake of all apes of what they want him to do, just for their sake, he could destroy his own life and his own company. But more so importantly, if he was to go down that route and hire, because he has that option, a private firm as a group to go in and investigate having or the existence of synthetic shares and naked shorts and all that stuff. The problem is if they were not effectively able to come up with concrete evidence, not just look at this and look at that, concrete evidence, then that could be utilized against us and say, see, even your own side came out with their own judge. It's not like it came from us. It came from your side, and it's proven there's no synthetics. So that's one bad way that could cause. That's one thing that could be causing that. And then secondly, if he was also to do that, and besides the implications of us losing if they don't come out with something and all that stuff, if it comes out with synthetics, and yes, there were, then we could risk going down in courts for stuff like that. Because, if you found synthetics, what is the next step? You sue as a company. You have to. Otherwise, all his shareholders are going to be like, so we got the answer and the proof, but you don't want to sue. So they would jump into that action. And we don't really, honestly, as investors, we don't want that because, we're going to be giving the shorts exactly what they need, which is years of unlimited amount of playing around in the market, because we could be even yanked off and suspended until further notice. Something that obviously we don't want. Let me just say hi to a few people in here. King Jeffrey, if you don't mind. Pokes, nice to see you in here, brother. Brenda, Queen of Swords, nice to see you in here, my friend. Did you see the article about GME's CFO and layoffs 30 minutes ago when after hour dumped? I had 7 positions dumped in 3 minutes, over $1,300. Being said, a hedge fund shorted $300K a minute before article came out at AB. Well, I've been hearing this. I haven't read through it thoroughly to see exactly how much they shorted or the analytics behind it. I heard the news. That Brenda ties into this as well. But first, I'm gonna let the incubator to go ahead and see. Have you seen that, Jeffrey, by any chance? Because I'm gonna tie it into this. But go ahead and please throw in your 2 cents.
I'm just looking it over right now. So go ahead.
Okay, so right now you'll get ready to hear all that negative news, and it's all going to be news that help influence a direction of trading. So in this case, dumping or down. What do I mean? Why am I tying that, Brenda, and everyone, to this? You got the Fed's Bullard, which is basically the Federal Reserve, St. Louis Federal Reserve Bank president. This is all the time when I talk about when they do this prior to Fed meetings, whether a week, 2 weeks prior to the next following Fed meeting, when they say stuff like this, he said that 75 base points rate hike in July makes sense. Okay, so unfortunately, they can't, unfortunately, like, if you don't see this as conflict of interest, I don't know what to tell you. Because here, let's read this and I'll tie it into it. Bullard on Thursday backed another 75 percentage point interest rate increase at the central bank's next meeting later this month, saying markets already expect the Fed to do so. Why is he saying this? It's because he's saying this because apparently, according to him, that the markets are already expecting somewhat of a recession, but we as the Feds have been trying, our goal is to target bringing down inflation. And by doing so, that's our number one target before we can go ahead and think about obviously growth and, moving the economy forward or to the upside. And when they say stuff like this, you will see tomorrow, and I fact check me, as I always say that when things like this happen, they will have a red day in the market tomorrow simply, and this is going to be the excuse. This is going to be their excuse. Oh, markets are fearing another 75 base points hike is on the docket. It's coming up. It's
On
already
the
bad enough.
horizon.
Yes, it's already bad enough that we had one just last month, and now we have another one, which never happened before, like this size, 275 base points back to back. Now, obviously, the meeting is not taking effect yet. So the fact that they could come out and say shit like this prior, obviously will have, and you will see, fact check me on this tomorrow, you will see the market in general. This is why you've seen Tesla up, almost every stock, Amazon up, everything was up. Like we were back in early 2021. Everything is rising. The markets are opening and we're going up financially and everything is strong. Like America strong, and then next thing you know, this is what happens. It comes out tomorrow. You will see all over the news, and you're gonna see all the articles inflict this kind of stuff. And just telling you, if you see a red day tomorrow, uh, expect all the news to be saying it's because of
Don't be
this.
surprised.
Exactly. Do not be surprised. And Brenda, hopefully you see the connection here with that. So that also works as negative news, what they reported on the CFO. Does it affect the stock dividend? I don't see it because again, uh, this dividend is different. A lot of people continue to tie it up to the bbig dividend with Cryptide, and it's not the same. It is completely different, guys. It literally is different. Like BBIG paid out for the dividend. It had to come out of BBIG, the company, the parent company to Cryptide, as it's a different entity to have this. So technically, the shorts in that realm, and Cryptide was previously trading as well as a company. The difference here with GME is that the shares, it's a 4-to-1 forward split, which means the shares have to be paid for. Like somebody has to pay for those shares to hit the block. Now, what kind of gimmick they have, if they are preparing some wicked shit for us with that, that is going to be reactionary. We will live to see in that point. But as far as personally, I know who's going to pay for this. It's not going to be the broker for those shares. It's not going to be GME because it's not a dividend that is kind of like they're paying it out. They're doing it in a form of shares. So if I have one share, what I'm expecting on July 21st is to have suddenly 4 shares now. And who's going to pay for those shares? Right? Who's going to provide those shares? That's the number one question. The easiest answer, or naturally how it should always be, or should be, is that these shorts, if they don't want to cover, they pay for these. But again, at that point, what's the point? Might as well cover your shorts before if you're also going to pay for that dividend and also have to still deal with all those shorts on the book. That's kind of like a double whammy, you know. That's my take on this. Now the incubator, they could have a different take. Who knows? But what do you think, King Jeffrey? Is it similar or is it different than BBIG's dividend? And what is your take
Yeah,
on this
no.
whole?
So it's exactly like you're saying. So they're basically just like you always heard Ken Griffin and Gary Gensler. The market is always forward looking. So they're always looking ahead. So what they're doing by putting out these articles is just like you said, just prepping everybody for tomorrow. If there's a red day in the stock market, they'll say, well, you know, the GME investors didn't like the fact that they're having, 600 layoffs or whatever. And so that's why a bunch of them jumped out when we already know nobody jumped out because there was 600 layoffs. You know what I mean?
Yep,
And basically they're just using news articles to justify the stock price.
yep,
And so basically, you know, and they'll make up news to justify what a stock is doing or how they're
yeah,
moving a stock.
yep,
They'll make up news. Like, and then they'll come back like 2 days later and say, "Oh, I guess the story was misunderstood or wrong or whatever." It's just that's just the way that they do it. I mean, there's so much just in the 2 years that I've been in this stock I've seen just so much corruption in the stock market and mainstream media and everything like that. So
yep,
I mean, that's enough said about that because I could go on for days about that. But also with the BBIG and the GameStop is yeah, it's different because so basically the market makers for the BBIG share they could literally just buy the Cryptide shares, which I think is what they did. That's the reason why Cryptide went down so far. So they would be able to buy those shares at a cheap price to be able to use or to deliver the shares to the BBIG stockholders. And
yep.
so but with GME they have to produce the shares. They can't produce money for the shares. They have to produce the shares.
This is why we probably
So
seen in the
that's the
pre-market
difference.
today. This is probably why in the pre-market today we seen Cryptide surge up to like 28% off the rip, and next thing you know, it ended up being in the red as soon as the market opened. All that was
Right.
gone. So a lot of buying
Well,
in the pre-market, then
I
delivering.
guess they're still trying to deliver. They're still trying to deliver all the Cryptid shares.
And
I
that's
guess
how they're doing
not
it.
everybody has tried to deliver them. Like mine went from because I was supposed to get what is it was it for every 10 shares you get one, right?
Yep.
Or you get three, or I can't remember what it was.
For every 10,
But
you get
my
one.
shares, yeah, so my shares went from like the very first day, it went to 15, and then the second day it dropped down to 6, and then now it's back at 8, and it's like,
They're
what are you guys doing with my shares? And then you click on it like if you wanted to sell it, it said it's not tradable. It's like what
see,
the heck?
see, they're basically buying
No,
time, especially the net. I know you asked a little bit ago to talk about BBIG. This is why we're talking about it. They're buying time. And if I'm not, I mean, with all this stuff that is being said right now, it sounds more to me that they're buying shares from within shareholders and then putting them back in their accounts and take them out, basically put in somebody's account and take away and put somebody else. I mean, this is seriously criminal as F.
yeah,
uh, for them to be
exactly.
doing stuff like this. But we are at the point right now as meme stockholders, we're at a point where there isn't anything that is illegal that we haven't seen. I mean, they might as well call the stock market the black market. straight up. Straight
Right,
up. What's next? What are they gonna trade us on there for a fee or some shit? I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible, guys. But what does
yeah.
that say? Does it say that that means they can hold this on forever? That answer is an absolute no. Again, everything comes to a stop at some point, right? It's inching closer. I'll tell you guys this: the general sentiment is that we're much closer than we are far away from our dreams. I'll just put it that way, and we'll let time tell. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, no, we're definitely inching our way. Obviously nobody has a crystal ball to tell us when it's going to happen, but you can just see from things that are happening that it's becoming more evident what they cannot do as to what they could have done in the past.
Yep, yep. Now we got Monty Barger. Nice to see you in here, brother. It's all the way from Alaska. I always speak good stuff about Alaska because it's geographically extremely important to the global trade. Uh, Everyone else, just side note, if you ever want to see the importance of Alaska, it's not just the skylights and all that stuff. Alaska is a beautiful state, and obviously Monty doesn't need my explanation to say it. He lives there, right? But it also is extremely important for the global trade, especially throughout the times of World War II. It was very necessary. Just a side note for everybody. Um, we got Brenda Queen of Swords. The hedge funds pay for the info to know when articles are coming out. That is indeed for Brenda. So they short at same or make it look like retail is scared and getting out when it's not. Absolutely true. We also got Dips Patel saying hi to AB and everyone in here just about. Dips Patel is a class act, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, he'd even go to the extent of typing all that stuff. I mean, your fingers must be hurting saying all the shout outs to everyone. Obviously, I highly appreciate it. Saying hi to Jeffrey as well. Dips Patel is saying hi to you, sir.
Hey, what's going on, Dip?
We also got Whimsy Chick in here. Nice to see you in here, my friend. I peed in Kenny's pools. AB, AMC dumped just as hard at the same time. It's normal 100%. Yeah, after hours. It is. And we're going to talk. I showed you guys the chart, just a sneak peek. But we're going to talk about the chart or the analytics of it real soon. Whimsy Chick is saying SPY pump, what a joke, right? Because SPY can be shorted afterwards. But if anybody is in here in the comments, if does anybody in here think that the SPY is going back to 500 or above? If you do, please put it in the comments section because I want to see how many people believe in that, in that shite. But I'm interested to know if it's on anybody's head and if they have a reason, a mathematical reason or some sort of news to why they think that. Uh, but yeah, what about you, Jeffrey? Do you think the SPY is going back over 500? Oh, I think I lost Jeffrey. All right, technical difficulties. Jeffrey will be right back on. Um, we got Mr. Diaz. Nice to see you in here right before I carried on. It's great. It's always a pleasure to see you in here, kind sir. I believe I'm caught up to everyone. Just dropping in. Thank you, sir. This is your home away from your home at any given time. Uh, you know, all of you don't need an invitation. You guys know what's up. Yes, the SPY will be over 500. Not anytime soon, though. Monty, that's the response of the day that I've gotten. Uh, let's see. So, what's next on the docket? Where do I want to go next? No, we'll talk about that in a second. We talked about this guy. And yes, so speaking of all sorts of new things that we were talking about just a little bit ago, right now apparently there's a lot of fatal accidents that are happening with all sorts of self-driving companies, like whether it's Tesla. Today they opened up a new investigation in this one vehicle company that is their majority holder is I forgot the company's name, but their majority holder is GM and General Motors. And basically, oh, I think it's right there. No, but this guy and it's yes, it's for this company. Who are they invested in the most? They're the biggest investors for this particular company. I need to get their name just so you guys would see. But you if you search, guys, oh, Cruise, yes, they say earlier this month became the first company to secure a permit to charge for self-driving car rides in the U.S. city after it overcame obligations by local officials. Now, why this is funny because Cruise, as of today, there's a new investigation that opened up because there was a major highway crash that happened with a lot of, I guess, that one of their vehicles have caused today. And it was terrible, terrible. So the investigation is being deeply opened into it. And I feel like all the electric vehicles slash self-driving technology vehicles, since that's the new trend or that's where we're moving toward, I feel like almost all the companies are having secret dark wars between each other. And I know it's dark, and I'm not going to make an allegation against any of them to say it specifically, but the fact that they're all having this, and also the fact that the government is still entertaining any of this stuff, um, I don't know. I get the importance, I guess, of a self-driving vehicle, but in the same time, I personally, I don't think I'll ever be able to do something like that consciously. Just subconsciously, I don't think I could ever do something like this because it's mentally I can't just not have my like I can't go to sleep in the car and I know it's driving by itself. Next thing you know, I might be in the ocean in the Pacific somewhere or something like So that was also part of the news today. Alibaba. Let's talk about Alibaba for a second. And this is why is this important? Alibaba signed a strategic cooperation deal with China's State Power Inc., basically trying to help China get better on its emissions, carbonic emissions levels. But what is so important about this? Do you see the ties right now? And their CEO was underground for a while, the better part of last year. A lot of people even thought that he was assassinated, or the Chinese government have taken this guy away or something. But lately, he's been popping up even more recent, like hey, I'm everywhere, like popping up crazy. And then you got that deal. I feel like Alibaba is strengthening its roots and showing its the roots are actually popping out now, and the true seeds of what they're trying to do is on the horizon. What this means to you and me, when the US puts sanctions, if we get to a point when China inevitably invades Taiwan, the US and the Western world will put sanctions on these countries. And in fact, also, I heard today's news that Alibaba got into a Saudi Arabian uh, partnership, like something with Saudi Arabia building something for them. Like I think it was with their cloud. Uh, so they're building their whole infrastructure for them. So they're strengthening their ties with, again, the country where the petrodollar was first born upon those when we signed that treaty back in the 70s, I believe. You guys know this, but you guys could search it on your own due time. Um, but this shows you, to me, it shows me more of, okay, when they eventually get sanctioned by us, a company like Alibaba would be very dangerous for me to jump in, because they will be similar to what happened with the Russian companies or the bank that a lot of people, you heard me 2 streams ago talk about all these companies that are held and they're worthless. Like they can't move out, they can't move in, they can't do nothing. and they're just held in Russia. And the Chinese have obviously been observing all that stuff and seeing this. That's why they're strengthening their course with on all counts before jumping into invasion, because by then they're already incorporating in the idea of sanctions. So they're trying to go around it. They made Russia be the testing puppet, or the guinea pig in this case, and they used all what happened or what's happening with that and developing into and incorporating it into their future plans. Okay, we got Jeffrey back. Nice to see you again, brother.
Hola. Sorry, my
Now you're fine, brother. You're fine. You're fine. Totally fine. Definitely
here's
missed.
some.
You're good, brother. Also, we got the U.S. jury convicts Theranos, Sunny Balwani of fraud. Do you guys remember this piece of crap? Have you heard of Balwani, Jeffrey?
No, I never have.
So basically, listen to this. Balwani and Holmes were charged in 2018 with lying to investors about the company's finances and its machine's ability to run broad range of tests from a few drops of blood. So basically, you could have this machine and it could test all sorts of things with just a few drops of blood. And they basically were selling people on that. But not only did they do that, prosecutors also charged the pair with duping patients about the test accuracy. So, like, how big of a piece of crap do you have to be, or an unhuman piece of shit? I'm sorry to say it like this to your ears, ladies and gentlemen, but this is how this makes me feel, because these people were literally telling their investors, not only they were lying to them, but they were also duping people, telling them like, oh yes, look, your test accuracy came back like this. I mean, imagine if you were someone with something really serious, and you went and did something, one of these things, and it comes back and say you're negative, and then you go back in reality and you really are positive with whatever it is. uh it's the worst feeling in the planet, I would assume, right? So Balwani was convicted on 2 counts of conspiracy and 10 counts of fraud. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office confirmed the jury in San Jose, California, handed down its verdict after deliberating for a little more than 5 days. And we also saw Holmes got some, but it wasn't as serious as Balwani. But I would be saying, like, look at this over here. They defrauded investors and patients about the blood testing startup that was once valued at $9 billion. Do you say they deserve time, Jeff?
Yeah, I think so.
So if that's the case, then you qualify to be one of our Supreme Court judges.
Now, send it. I'll go.
And on that same note, I didn't decide to cover this in here, but on that same note, we got how do you say her name? Uh, Giseline, what's her name? It
Are
sounds
you
fun. That's
saying
what
you?
Ghislaine Maxwell. Giseline Maxwell. What's her? How do you pronounce her name? I
I'm
can't. I
not
can't say
sure.
the second one. You know who I'm talking about, right?
No.
Okay, so that was
Who?
the right hand woman in to Jeffrey Epstein situation.
Oh,
You know how
that
she
must
had, and the reason why I'm even sharing this right here with you guys is because awareness, awareness, awareness. They tried after the Epstein stuff to put the whole stories under carpet, bury it under the carpet, keep it out of media, but people didn't budge, and it continued going on until they finally handed this chick what I think is still not justifiable, 20 years in prison, which most likely with good behavior and obviously the lavish prison she'll be in, she'll probably get out in 5 or 6. Again, this is the case,
be.
but this
You're talking about
piece of
Ghislaine Maxwell?
yeah, but this piece of work even went today and appealed the decision. She's not happy with her with her 20-year sentence. And it's mind-boggling. If you any of you knew what exactly the role that she worked and what she was doing with Epstein, right now you'll probably be like you're probably be losing your shit on the other side, you know. And I'm just not seeing it or hearing it because 20 years was even low, very low to a piece of work like that. Like someone like that should not ever be out walking or be given the freedom to the kind of damage they have caused. And it's crazy that they would the bigotry that these
Yeah.
individuals have by coming back and saying, "Hey, I want to reappeal this decision. I don't think I was rightfully judged." What? What?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Right? So moving away from the politics for a bit, we
Well,
got
that's even like so it's I don't know if you've noticed it, but they even had like I can't remember. It was like I don't remember if it was a 60 minutes or what, but it was just it was a news article or a news piece that was saying that in in the judicial systems in America, how how women get a lesser crime or a lesser sentence for the same crime. So like, you know, I mean, if a guy or sentence, obviously Jeffrey Epstein, but for the same things that she did, that Ghislaine Maxwell did, they would have probably got maybe like the death penalty or life in prison. But she only got 20 years.
yeah, again, like honestly, like whether it's the or a female, to me at the end of the day, the crime is a crime, and the law shouldn't see any, you know, anything away. I mean, right now, honestly, as a civilization or society in the U.S., um, or the number one free state of the world, we already have a lot of cracks in our system. I mean, you guys are all hearing about obviously the whole Raw versus Wade case and all that kind of stuff, and what's happening with our Supreme Courts. And I think we're in a very critical situation and a bypass of our institution because the majority of the public are are rethinking, like, is the Constitution is a great piece of work, but somewhere along the lines, we've had a lot of people that jumped in with influence, and here we are today. This is the kind of world that we're in today. And by the way, these crimes are just now popping up onto the scene because we have social media expansion and everybody's seeing everything and watching everything at all times. But these things, it's not like they just started happening now. These things are just the surface of all the craziness that is happening on a constant base throughout the globe. I mean, when they even talked about that case, the stuff that they mentioned or the people that they brought in to the case versus obviously the Epstein were only not even a decimal of the amount of crime or the victims that they had globally, you know. So
Right.
moving away from that dark topic, I just thought that we needed to talk about it and share it. We got, as you can see here, Dave and Buster's Entertainment just announced that the company is testing checkout free convenience store technology at its Hollywood, similar to what Jeffrey was talking about, huh? The Game and Go micro market has opened partnership with Zippin, and here's the better part, which is providing the checkout free technology, and Coca-Cola is providing the beverages. This is big for Dave and Buster's, guys. Especially just anything that brings any company with this name. I don't care about zipping as much. They can zip it. But this is the name of partnership that I care about the most, which is Coca-Cola. And why do I say this? Because Coca-Cola already puts its influence as a small business owner myself. Every time I've opened up a restaurant, every time I've always just reached out to Pepsi Co company and then Coca-Cola. And you know what happens then? They both will fight head over heels to try to earn my business. And how? By obviously having their fountain drinks into my business. And how that works, they will come, install the whole fountain drink, the lines that connect all the way to the back of the restaurant to where the boxes, the syrups are with the CO2 tanks. They will provide all that at no cost. You just have to keep ordering, obviously, through them.
Yeah.
Or every time they come in, they have to see your fridge is fully filled with Coca-Cola. So Dave and Buster's, I'm assuming here because they're also a food joint, more than just an entertainment spot. They seen that already, and they were like, you know what? Why don't we make this the new thing that Jeffrey you were talking about earlier, about the things that you touch or you just scan via touching, through I guess zipping, because they're already getting
Yeah.
provided free setup on all this. They just have to buy the syrup bags from Coca-Cola, and if you don't, they really will never cancel your account. So I just gave a tip to a lot of you out there who either don't have a restaurant or have a restaurant or have a business, that they would, if they would ever like to get a beverage and that set up for the fountain drink machines and everything, don't sweat it too much because they'll come in and they'll do everything. One side note,
Yeah.
just to say, and I'm not like, either sponsored by Coke or Pepsi. I'm a business owner myself and I have one. But I'll tell you this, my experience with Pepsi was the absolute worst. And that's why I chose Coca-Cola. In fact, my account manager for Coca-Cola, God bless his heart, amazing, amazing individual. His name is Eric. Um, Amazing individual. So if there's any Coke people watching this stream, give the man his dues. He should be running Coca-Cola. But yes, he's a humble Southern raised gentleman, wife and kids, amazing guy. But anyways, not that you guys want to know about Eric now, but that's the point of it. So Dave and Buster's apparently have seen. Obviously, we already have this. Why don't we make it possible by adding this and going about it? This is something that will inflict into Dave and Buster's. I mean, it is a test after all, but just the fact that they have Coca-Cola's name on it, this is going to be huge for them. Um, so it's interesting that you were just talking about that earlier, Jeff, before even seeing
Yeah.
this article. You have a
You
crystal
know, it's
ball?
funny. It's
What?
funny that no,
You have a
it's
crystal
just that
ball?
I was thinking about it because, like I said, three different Circle K's in within my city limits. It's not. I mean, it's not like I went to different states, but within my city limits, all of their cash registers were down, but yet the self-service one was open. I'm like, there's got to be something. I was telling my wife, I was like, there's got to be something where they're testing out this to see how profitable it would be, or if people would just leave and not use the self-serve. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I mean, obviously, it's got to be working somehow because Walmart did it all throughout the pandemic, where they would have one register open and then self-service everywhere else.
So basically, you see the benefits of it. I mean, in a way, I think it's a cool idea, even though it's kind of like very socialist, but it's crazy that, I mean, can you imagine that you grab, like, I'm one of those kind of customers where I go in and I literally just about, when I shop, it's not a quick experience. It's always, I pick up everything, I look at it, what is the things on the back saying, the nutritions, all that stuff. I mean, can you imagine if I have to make sure I go into my app or virtually or something and say, no, no, don't add this on my list? Because with that kind of technology, I'll walk out with like what, a $20,000 shopping list, even though like 75% of it I don't really need. I just happen to
Yeah,
look at need.
I'm the exact opposite. I'm the exact opposite. When I go in, like, my wife hates to shop with me because I'll go into the mall,
And
I'll
you're
go
quick.
directly to the store I need to go to, and I
Yes.
know exactly where the whatever I'm getting, whether it's a pair
Yes.
of shoes or a shirt or whatever. I mean, normally she shop for me, but if I have to go in and grab something, I go straight there. I get what I need, and I'm walking out. She's like, "Wait, let's go over." Here." Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
You're a
Oh,
soldier. You go right on mission. Once it's done, it's done.
yeah,
All right.
that's
So, with most
oh,
of right, with most of this news covered, guys, now let's bring this bad boy up. I know you guys have been waiting for this. Most of you most likely have been waiting for this. Sorry, let me readjust this real quick. Let's look at it on year move, like I've showed you guys before. All right. Let me say hi to a few people in here. I feel like we've gotten some people talking in here. Monty Barger. They were running some standard tests in the background and giving completely wrong result to pad their results for what they couldn't test for. So Monty, you also know the Balwani case. So yes, it's crazy that they they got basically they got their final uh, judgment today. Today was judgment day for these people, even though it's been since 2018. Um, Brenda Queen of Swords, did you hear about the Nickel Man? He got no punishment and gets to keep billions. I've heard about the Nickel Man, but I've never, continued with it. Brenda, have you heard of the Nickel Man, Jeffrey? I, I think I lost Jeffrey again. It's perfect timings for Jeffrey
are
when
you,
I call him.
you're talking about the young guy that shorted all the nickel.
Ah, that's what. Okay. Um, so I don't
Yeah,
know if he was
he
allowed to
ended up
keep all the
ended up
billions.
getting to keep everything.
He was allowed to keep everything.
Yeah,
Well, that must be nice. I would like that
it's all
job,
right.
right? Even if they, okay, you know what? I'll do that crime if they charge me 50%, up to 50%. If they give me and say, hey, you know what? You did this crime. Give us half of those proceeds. I'm gonna think about it for a bit, but then eventually I'll say, you know what? You guys deserve 50%. Here you go. After all, I stole all that money. This is like an ever never ending situation with the SEC and doing it the same thing with JP Morgan. We covered that yesterday. You guys seen the fine that they got for not providing all the forex transactions that they've caught in. They've been fined numerous amount of times. I remember in 2017 they had one. Mr. Boss Blunt had shared, I think, yesterday. I've seen a glimpse where he was even talking about himself, like, talking about the crimes that JP Morgan have been also caught in, and like he goes even deeper into it. So it's interesting to obviously see this never stopping and a constant same pattern over many years, not just now, and we still are the same. So it's mind-boggling to me. We got the Coiler is in the house. Stacia, nice to see you in here, my friend. I see you have your coffee cup. Hoping you're having a great evening. Uh, Jams, glad to hear that, and I agree. Now it's time for our stock to be up 4,000%. My day is going fantastic, just enjoying the summer. So Mrs. Gloria and Jams are vouching for 4,000%. Do we have any betters in here? Going once. Come on, guys, take it up higher. Anything more than 4,000%? Going once. Okay, I'll go for 5,000%. All right, 5,000 going once. Anybody up in the bid in here? It's always lovely to see you ladies in here. Thanks, definitely always stopping by and flourishing the space. Um, oh, Jams just overbid me, so I can't even take it for 5,000. Jam Bams just outbidded me with 7,000%. Jam Bams wants 7,000% return on AMC. Seeing it soon. Does anybody is going once, going twice? I can't do the auctioneers people when they go like it's going 20,000, 2,000. Like these guys are crazy how quick they spin words and how they talk quick. Uh, so yes, Monty just upped it up to 10K. 10,000% returns. You guys are really, really, really gonna be freaking rich, like very, very rich, wealthy rich. And like the boss man says, they're gonna be so freaking filthy rich. I can't even copy it the same. So I'm not a copier, so I'll leave it for the man to say it himself because it just rolls off better. Now we're gonna get all those WG, you know, you finish out the word, all those in there. Actually, there you go. I'll be the first one to put it. Now everybody's gonna write that in there. Much
Hey,
love to Boss and my friend Pantheon as well. What's up,
hey,
Jeffrey?
you guys better get ready for a dip in the market.
For
Um,
it.
what's his name? Jim Cramer just predicted that we hit bottom. We're bouncing now.
Oh shit, yeah. When that guy, okay, always the opposite. Whatever that guy, yeah, I get it. I get
Mm,
it. Yep.
I
Um,
thought that dropped 50%
yeah.
tomorrow.
You know, I'm surprised that that guy or that clown still has a show or even has a say. Um, well, I'm not actually surprised because most people that listen to that stuff are not meme investors, or they're either institutional or people who don't know much about trading. They're just going through either a brokerage that is doing it for them, or they're just completely in the dark. They work a 9 to 5 and they don't want to bother with it. So they listen to these people because they feel like when someone like an AB and King Jeffrey come online, they're like, okay, who are these guys? They're not with the accolades of a Kramer or a Ken Griffin or whatever. Not that I ever want this. You guys always know, you guys remember back in the Ramadan time frame, when I used to walk in the backyard and talk with you guys on lives, I used to say that, it's crazy how they always give credits and people, when you talk about Bill Gates said this, or Warren Buffett said this, or Bezos said this, or, such and such, Kenny G said this, people would listen to it or gravitate to it because of the accolades of these individuals. But these individuals not necessarily were never really that smart. They just got all the manipulative ways, and they got connections that make them happen. I mean, the only way these guys win is by cheating. So therefore, how could you say that these individuals are visionary, fantastic, the Avengers, and all that stuff? These guys cheat to get to this, to get their gains, which is basically theft, or robbery, in the form of robbery. This is what I call it. However, majority of the 90% follows or gravitates to these individuals that are also happen to be the same people that are fleecing them from the backside. I do want to say it in a different wording. I would just say fleecing them from the backside. It's interesting, but not you, filthy rich people. Look at that. I've seen it all in the chat right here. I've seen it. Look, Jams is saying WGBSGDFR. I'm glad that I was able to say all that all at once. And I hear Jeffrey laughing in the background. So
No, it's funny
let's,
that even we're talking about the news articles.
yeah,
I was just looking at GameStop, and after hours it tanked.
yes,
It's crazy.
it tanked. I don't think it tanked, a whole awful lot. Right now, it's rebounded back to 4.5%. in the red. But again, guys, the after hours you always have to take also with a grain of salt, because this is just how after hours normally are. Now, yes, the sentiment is that they pumped it up. Think of it like this. Here's a thing to see why these things are happening, and we're going to talk about obviously in the chart because this also links to it. When you have this stuff happening like this, for them, shorting, for example, AMC at 12 is extremely, extremely more dangerous, and the cost to borrow is so much higher and all that stuff. When the price goes up like this is hedging at its finest, or at its worst in the same time for us. This is where they pick up the price like this. Next thing you know, it can be dropped back down the next following few days. They also get to hit two birds with one stone. They get a lot of people to jump in and freak out and go ahead and YOLO in on options. That way they can, by tomorrow, by Friday, bring it down under certain strike prices so that they can make a lot of money on these options. Um, let's see over here as why is this is important. You guys see here on the AMC, I've drawn this out for you to see all these bearish pennants that we were been in. Here, back in March, we break out. And obviously you see how we couldn't stay above it. We had to respect that channel that I've also drawn up here. It's not the best drawing in the world, but I'm not the best artist. I have an eye for it, not a hand for it. But however, as you can see down here, this happened and we started making the markets after the bearish trend started to make higher lows and some higher highs, but most importantly, the higher lows, which predicted what? This rise right here. Over here, we're inside this trend and this pattern, and we're right on the verge over there of breaking out of it. So if they tomorrow let this go like this is why we were talking about, a few lives ago. And yesterday, Jeffrey, you remember we were talking about it also in the comments, that we could see this, the $18 range. Remember, Jeffrey?
Yep.
And this area, if this goes there by tomorrow, I would say hopefully by tomorrow, and it's not in their best interest, the institutional, then we would be completely at that, on a technical level, we would be completely breaking out of this sell-off trend, at least for the time being. Now, this is why I also have explained that from that point, it's not all over. But why is it extremely important? Because one, if we go there and we get to the $18 strike price, hypothetically speaking here, by tomorrow, let's say that, right? If that happens, then what would that do is, by the time like the options chain, majority of the options, I would assume at that point, just going out on a limb here, will be in the money versus how it's all almost out of the money against us. In fact, if I have it correct right here, the options total volume is around 583,000. We got about 429 the volume, but that's volume is it's not an accurate figure, because in volume is when you buy an option. Just quick breakdown: when you buy an option, that counts as one. When you sell that same option, that would take the count to two. So the open interest is the one that is constant, that doesn't change. So if you bought it and then you sold it, it would still be considered as one. It won't change like the volume does. So with that being said, so we got 429,000 in calls, and we have 154 roughly thousand in puts. And we see that majority of that volume is on those 14 and $15 strike price. So we break those and hypothetically get all the way up to the 18. Holy moly, you're talking about next week. What do we have? Remember what I said? I showed you in the FTDs list yesterday. And Jeffrey, I'm going to let you also talk about the chart and break it down. Just give me a moment to please bring this out real quick. Um, we got this. We got the FTDs.
Remember the AB. Remember, I can't see anything because I'm on my phone right now.
Okay, okay. I'll let you say your thoughts as far as the technicals you've seen on the chart. I'm pretty sure you've seen it already, right? Like your
Yeah,
chart. Okay.
yeah.
So
Mine. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, just one moment. So tomorrow, as I told you guys, remember today is July 7th. Tomorrow is the 8th. Then next Monday is the 11th, and next Tuesday is the 12th. Why am I highlighting these? Because you see how the failure to deliver, what is the red yet again? Red color rows means higher FTD amounts. What is higher meaning over here? We're talking about 2.6 million that has to be delivered, which is equivalent to about 35, because it's supposed to be at $13.30, a 35 million induced into AMC that is due tomorrow, obviously for the T plus 35 date. So today's little rise, which was roughly 14%, was, if I'm not mistaken, right? When it closed, was it 14, 14 and a half?
15 cent,
15. Oh, okay.
15.19.
Sorry, AB is a little shilly with his percentages today on AMC, but you guys will forgive me for a 0.5%. Um, we got there, and then tomorrow we're supposed to be seeing this again. We in reactionary mode because we don't know what they're planning or what kind of evil planning they're doing in the background. But this, according to the rules, is supposed to be induced tomorrow. And then Monday we have this, and then Tuesday, this following Tuesday, we also have this. These are huge. With the price action we had today, if these things go into tomorrow, if hypothetically we get to 18 because of this and above it, then the following week, not only will we have a nice sizable gamma, but we will also be having this to Monday and Tuesday to help us. Not only that, but look, when we get to the 15th of this month, which is, again, I told you that the market makers are been looking at this date with a knife and a fork. They do not, whatever they're doing within their power, they do not want that date to be in our favor. Because if that date is in our favor, that means they are going to be like, they're going to perish. In other words, because we have biblical amounts of options that were most likely, obviously, placed long time ago. And if I have to go out on a limb here, it's because I know a lot of YOLOers have probably came in like 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 months ago, whatever, looked at the options chain and said, you know what? I want to jump in on this hype and make a lot of money. Let's look at which date gives me the cheapest. And they probably went ahead and scrolled down, seen that July the 15th is the one that has, one of the only ones that has a strike option open data all the way up to $145. So they're like, okay, the premium is very low. This AMC could go, oh my God, to 3,000 and 10,000 and whatever the case may be. So a lot of people are YOLOing. So is that a good strategy? Absolutely not. Terrible, because that's what obviously market makers have the ability to look forward to this stuff and plan ahead. They have access to this and they're like, okay, by all means, we cannot let this, you know, price close above or whatever by then. Will they always be successful? No, because back in June of 2021, they got obliterated completely. And people were all loaded up on what back then was equivalent to the 145. Back then, it was a $40 strike price. That was the highest you could go and YOLO on at AMC back then. And yes, it paid off tremendously for crazy for people. But how often do that happen? You've seen it. On a weekly base, it's always in the favor of the market maker till that one time a year and a month ago, to be exact. You know, so keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. However, as I was saying, we are right on this. We break to 18. The next step will be looking to see if we can honestly break through the anywhere between the 24, 25 area right here. But at this point, this is where my fears will grow. Will we go up here and then they do something like this. 1 second. Right there. Well, we get right here, and then they will do something like this and bring us back down, which will result into one of these waves. I know this is over this. It should be right here, guys, but just want to show you. This will continue another downtrend like this since last June, since our last run. And eventually this from here will bring us down here to further continue the bearish trend or the bearish sentiment of selling. I don't necessarily exactly see it this way, but again, you never know because we're reacting to it. However, we get to this point in the 24-25 range from 18, which should be relatively very easy because of the gamma ramping of, we've seen what I just showed you in the background. Eventually, this right here is where we're looking in the $32-$33 range is to be trading at. I know it's gonna be at 30, 29.72, but to be safe for me, again, I would like to see it in the 32, 33. If it has to consolidate, it has to consolidate there, but definitely above 30. And if it does that, then that officially at that point shows that we are in a reversal trend, because you see here lower, 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 lower. So every trend we had, you've seen that since June run up, is always lower than the previous high, which obviously bearish sentiment selling. So if we don't do this down here, as I explained earlier, and we stay here and consolidate, this is one of the scenarios, then why here it's officially a higher high from the previous lower low and then lower high. Then officially at that point, we would be having a full-on reversal, which according to the data, bull flag formations, which is clearly what this is, it's a bull flag. Whenever a reversal is confirmed, you're looking upwards of new highs, new all-time highs on the stock to be made. In what percentage, how high, it's very difficult to say because you can measure the length of the previous waves and a few things that go into it. But at that point, I don't like to go deep into that point because it would help influence people's minds. And this is not a technical just play. This is a MOAS. So therefore, there are many things that don't necessarily need to be very fundamental, because at the end of the day, we've seen this whole play has been not fundamental, how they've been working with it, right? But the technicals don't lie, my dear friends. So we'll see where that would take us. What's your take on this, Jeffrey? Hopefully I didn't bore everyone to death with this.
No, yeah, I do see. I'm just looking basically from a technical standpoint. Like, I think since I mean, I know they say that pre-market and after hours doesn't matter, but I think the fact that we did come back and test was it like the 1380 range, and then we bounced off of there with no volume. If tomorrow we jump out and jump high right off the bat, I think we're in for a good day tomorrow. But they can also do that because everybody's looking at that it's bouncing off that 1380, which is actually a fib level. So they might actually try to fake us out and tomorrow jump out big and then tank it for the rest of the week. So just, be careful on that. But if we do a continuation tomorrow, then we should be able to see 18 by end of week. I guess tomorrow is end of week, isn't it?
Tomorrow's Friday.
A day somewhere. Maybe Monday. If we can hold 18 by Monday, we should be good.
Yes.
For the breakout.
What do you think?
Yeah,
what do you think about the?
I lost the day. I was thinking today was Wednesday all day.
Oh yeah, because of that 4th of July weekend. So what do you think about the the T plus 35 date and what's supposed to be delivered tomorrow. Those 2.6 million shares. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, you know, they've never ever, I mean, they've never came into fruition like we expected them to, they for whatever reason they'll find a way to manipulate it to where it doesn't really matter. But like I said, with other things coming into play, who knows? I mean, it's one of those things where I hate to say anything because it's like tomorrow
Because
that they could come out and say, whatever, something crazy, and it will make the stock do the totally opposite thing that it was supposed to do.
right,
You know what I mean?
it's
So it's just
understandable.
yeah. Hey, hold on 1 second. I have to order this part, so I'm gonna
Do
I'm
your
gonna put
thing,
it on
brother.
mute real quick. All right.
Do your thing. We're almost wrapping up. Um, so okay, let me see in here. Uh, who am I saying hi to before all this? Uh, Glock, nice to see you in here. Um, Brenda, Queen of Swords, the good and obedient can't win. Well, for so long only, because you can't keep a good man down forever. Um, well, obviously we don't win. It's a long. Okay, so the good and bad is it's something that since beginning of time, since Adam and Eve time, it's always been in question. They've been in battle. We've been in battle with good and bad. I don't think it will ever stop. They will always have bad. We will always have bad, and we will always have good. I do believe that good will always defeat, evidently, in the greater scheme of things, will defeat bad in general ways. But that doesn't mean that we obviously win all battles. It's all about winning the war, which ultimately, at that point, the war ends, I think, when Judgment Day hits, dependent or according to everybody's beliefs. That's my opinion on it. So, Brenda, it's unfortunate what happened there with you, but it's just one of the battles against the worst or the evil forces out there. Doesn't mean that we give up on it and that's it, and that means we become bad so we can win. No, it means that we got to make sure we get more sophisticated and win the next battle. That's it. With all the respect, Brenda. Glock, nice to see you in here, brother. Veronica Chase is saying McDonald's are doing it in here, Washington D.C., Maryland, Virginia. Yeah, they're taking advantage of the Coke right situation. Uh,
Hey, I saw Steven in here real quick. Did he leave?
in the chat
Oh, he
or in
must have
the incubator.
in the incubator. Yeah, he was here for a minute. He must have left.
I didn't see. I could hear it because I'm looking at these screens over here, so I could just hear you or hear whoever is in the
Yeah.
incubator, but I didn't hear him. So I'm pretty sure
I,
he
I,
has
I
something.
saw his avatar, and then that was when I was saying, "Hold on a minute," and
Yeah,
then I guess he must have popped back out.
probably seen that we were wrapping up and probably was like, okay, you know what? Um, so uh,
Oh, there he is again. What's up,
uh,
Steven?
there's Steven. What's up, Super Steven? Maybe he's the mic is
He's just
faulting out.
lurking. He's on mute right now. So
He's probably listening. Well, I wanted to before we wrap up, I wanted to hear his take on the Costco, sales or report or earnings report, and then I also wanted to hear his opinion on
yeah.
the bbby CEO getting buying the 50,000 shares yesterday. The lady Sue, her name is Sue. for you copier out there, you know who you are. It's a lady. Please go back and correct your uh, content, to your following, please. Let's see. All right. It doesn't look like we're fortunate enough to pick up Mr. Steven. Pretty sure he's probably still at work. That's why he, popped in, popped out, but he was on mute. So, Jeffrey, do you have anything you would like to add or say to the family?
No, just hold and be ready. Be ready for anything.
Yes, for sure. For sure. And
Sorry,
I'm going to go ahead.
trying to get some parts from my day tomorrow. But
No.
anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna jump out of here. But thanks for letting me come talk, and everybody to the moon.
All the pleasure is all ours, Jeffrey, as always. Appreciate you for stopping through and dropping
Okay,
some
you guys ready?
dimes. Later, brother. I'll talk to you later. Man, what a gentleman, right? Very knowledgeable. I'm trying to get the uh, link to the Discord. Sorry, doing it on the computer is a little different than doing it on the phone. It's much easier on the phone to copy the link. Boom. Let's see, maybe we have some luck here. No. And by the way, the Discord is free to everybody who's in here who have not been here before. If you would like to join to chat with everyone when we're away from being live or any content being dropped out, feel free to join. Just click on that link and join Discord. It's much easier than a lot of people would say it is. Like, a lot of people confuse it for like a lot of things. As you can see here, people are messaging or if there's new news, it drops in there. So if you want to be in tune with what's happening, or even sometimes come in like you've seen on the incubator, and some people conversate and we conversate. I pop in when I have obviously also the chance and time, and it's all I could tell you guys is there's a lot of great info in these. In fact, in on the Discord, there's always stuff more happening more there than anywhere else because whenever something big happens, if it's at night, you know, and it gets reported where I'm not, most people don't go and just create a live, hey, what's up? At 2 or 3 in the morning or at 1 or something. But if it's all being put in like this, as you can see here, you see all this stuff, all these news, everything. So you could see all that and you could go to plays and it's all sorts of things. Let's see. I think I'm getting somewhere. There we go. I got the link, guys. Everybody clap for AB. I'm gonna post it down here again, guys. Like I said, it's free. It's just a cool. It's like a mess. Think of it as a messaging app, but with info. Let me say who's in here as well. I'm seeing a lot of chats in here. Yeah, Glock. Go Glock. You can come into the Discord, but make sure you don't bring any Glocks with you. Goonie, nice to see you in here. Leo the Lion, what we got for AMC today? Well, yeah, a whole lot, my friend. I will let you have some fun with the live at your most convenient time to see, obviously, exactly all the things that have happened. Hopefully, you like what we have shared today. It was a variety of many things to talk about. Let's see if there's any questions in here that I must answer. If there's any, I'm leaving the link on for a little bit, guys, so that whoever wants to click on it and join the Discord, feel free. But I'm gonna stay on also for just a few minutes, see if there's any more questions. I'm ready to answer. We got, again, keep your mind on tomorrow's FTDs, Monday's FTDs, and Tuesday's FTDs. It's just the timing is impeccable with what's happening, especially with everything that is happening right now in this time frame. Um, there's no need to freak out. As you guys can see, um, it's not a dump or a huge dump as of yet. But again, you've seen the article about Ballard with him saying, "Oh, I support another 75 base points." Prior to the meeting, don't be surprised when you see a red market tomorrow. That's what they're preparing you for. Um, Also, we're not, and please know this, guys, we are not up solely just to that tweet from Adam Aaron about when pounce and August 4th and all that stuff. Obviously it's very bullish for us because now we hear something, right? And that's important. He's a man of his word, he even said. But the actual also reason of why we were going up, including most of the other meme stocks like SPCE, Bed Bath and Beyond had a crazy day before it was brought down in the last hour of trading. GME overall had a great day as well. Um, there's so much that goes into like, for example, my mind right now, as in all the case that I made for you about why it could be very bullish. I also made out the case for the cons, because there's always a pro and a con when we're talking about futuristic uh occasions or something that's supposed to be happening in the future. I showed you the cons. I've talked about the cons, what they could possibly do, lure people in, options. July 15th, go look at the options chain if you're an options reader, and you'll know what I'm talking about even more. But numerically, it's biblical. Um, the pros, you've also heard my case about the FTDs for tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, the bullish action that we had today, even though it was controlled, because you can see it in the volume. It was induced to certain levels so it doesn't go out of control. Um, Again, hope for the best, expect the worst, or expect the worst, hope for the best. And that's a very good way that I could possibly leave everyone with. Like I said, let me read the messages in here, see if there's any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer before I say deuces to everyone. If there's anything new that happens, guys, I will also go ahead and update it as I do on my Discord. So let's see if there's any questions. Going once, going twice, and we are set. Once again, guys, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. Yep, we had another great, I feel like, stream. You guys are the judge. Hopefully we didn't disappoint anybody with anything in any form or shape or manner. At the end of the day, everything that comes out here is unfiltered. I give you everything without having a bias, but I am entitled to my own opinion as well. So I always also put that in. But I keep all the views always open because at the end of the day, we are one family. Thank you so much for your time, guys. I appreciate you so much. And I look forward to the next one, most likely tomorrow. And if there's anything new that happens, I'll catch you in the Discord. With that being said, much love, AB Investments.